God is good.
All the time.
And all the time.
God is good.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to CI Sunday. I am Darian, or I am. You don't know. So CI, as described by Gabe earlier, is a 5-day youth young adult retreat where we can fellowship, worship, and overall go deeper in our relationship with God. Before I dig deeper into this, I want to take this moment to again thank all of the staff, collective, campers, pastors, and the support from everyone that contributed to making this year's CI happen. I also want to give a shout out to my brothers and sisters from CI for coming out to support Middle CI Sunday. CI 2018 marks my 6th consecutive year attending. However, instead of becoming a camper like I had been the previous 5 years, this year I had the opportunity of being part of staff. Though I was timid at the idea of being placed in a leadership role, I was able to smoothly transition and fulfill the position of a pre-LIT, just like Sean. Without the support and the guidance by the staff, I would not have been prepped for the experience that was awaiting me. The theme for this year was When the Fight Calls. As already stated previously by our 2 men over here, the fight symbolizes the various struggles and conflicts within our lives. It becomes an anthem for us to take on the challenges the world has to offer, with God by our side, guiding the way to create new opportunities to take and grow from. From the powerful praise band and worship done by the CI praise team, to interest groups, sermons, testimonies, family group, lessons, banquet, all these factors played a part in helping me connect with God. Being able to witness campers further strengthen their own relationship with Christ truly touched my heart. Now, the day that really allowed me to connect with the campers was the day of spiritual activity, where I acted in one of the skits. In the skit, a Christian friend invites my brother and I to attend worship night. However, my brother rejects him and dismisses the idea of God. When my character showed interest in attending, my brother verbally bullied and harassed my character. I then turned to each group of campers and asked them what I should do. Some of them tried to interact, even gave solutions. But most were silent, shaken by the idea that the skit was probably relatable for them, or it opened their eyes to help them see that this is what they may be prone to encounter in their faith journey. Witnessing the emotions from the skit and the overall spiritual activity impacted them, the way that it impacted them really had an emotional impact on me as well. It allowed me to empathize with what the youth go through. This also allowed me to reminisce on my past and take into consideration that the youth, despite their young age, do encounter struggles. They are trying to find themselves in this world. They are constantly being surrounded by negativity from the media and their peers. They need answers. They need love. Love that stems from that of God, to help them know that they are truly not alone. In high school, I was obsessed with building an image for myself. I was so focused on how my peers would perceive me that I lost sight of who God is calling me to be. I thought that I knew what was best for me, so I stopped seeking guidance from my parents. Instead, I turned to people who I believed were good and had it all figured out. They weren't, and they didn't. Rather than turning to Jesus to find fulfillment, I turned to drugs, parties, and quick thrills. I was living, or so I thought. Then I found myself being put in dangerous situations. I was raised better than that, but I couldn't stop. I was addicted. The quick thrills turned to anxiety. The highs turned into lows. But still, I was addicted. Over time, I got so caught up in this toxic lifestyle that I lost myself to it. It got to the point that I couldn't even recognize my own reflection. I was lost. Alongside this, I didn't realize how selfish I was being. I wasn't just hurting myself, I was hurting others around me. My family and friends grew concerned for me, but I pushed them away. I didn't know who to turn to because I was so fearful of my consequences. I was at war with myself, and I felt hopeless, anxious, but most of all, felt alone. I cried out to God in desperation. He was the only one I could turn to because I felt too ashamed to turn to anyone else. And after praying and reflecting back on the Jesus talks I would have with my dad when I was younger, I remember that the fight was not just mine, but rather that God would be fighting alongside me. I believe that all authentic ministry is rooted in prayer, but just saying a prayer and hoping that God will do the rest is not enough. What begins in prayer should end in action. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "You cannot fight darkness with darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." It was time for me to take the opportunities that God has laid out for me to ultimately grow from my experiences. I took the opportunity to move on from my past habits. Rather than acting out of hate, I chose to move with love. I intentionally began serving church, CI, and ultimately God. I attended services and events for a reason, to learn more about Him and to further strengthen my faith and my relationship with my youth group and family. A big factor that helped me boost my will to change was due to who I surrounded myself with. I have a positive, supporting group of friends who I call family that constantly encourages me to be the best I can be with God by my side. God is love, and love prospers. This further pushed the idea that I was not truly alone in my fight, but I had others who were going to sit by my side, even as they are dealing with their own fights as well. I want to pause for a moment and ask, how many of you have ever felt alone? I'm not asking you to raise your hands, but if you've ever felt this way, please look to your right. If there's no one to your right, please look behind you. Now, how many of you have ever felt unloved? Again, if you've ever felt like this, look to your left. If there's no one to your left, look behind you. You are not alone. You are loved. Now, how many of you have ever felt like you were losing to your struggles? How many of you have ever felt like you screwed up so badly that there is no redemption? If you've ever felt like this, I invite you to look up at this cross in front of us. Jesus is our redemption. Jesus is my redemption. And I know that sometimes things don't make sense, but we need to focus on what God has blessed us with. You have others in this same sanctuary to turn to. You have your family to turn to. You have your church to turn to. You have God to turn to. Sometimes God's blessings come in the form of people that are around you, which was the case for me. We just need to pay attention. Take this as a way of encouragement that this fight is not yours alone. Just like Gabe said, the fight can happen anywhere, whether we are ready or not. Conflict and negativity is everywhere. I don't want to discourage anyone, but there will always be struggles and hardships that will come to us during our lives. But one of my best friends once said, "There is no place God cannot go, and no moment God cannot be." There is no place God cannot go, and no moment God cannot be. So going back to the theme of CI 2018, when the fight calls, I urge you to seek God first. Although our struggles and hardships are reoccurring, Jesus is eternal. Just like what Jesus said to his disciples in John chapter 16, verse 33, "I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Thank you.